How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we are going over my red-yellow SS4 Gogeta deck that I played in the webcam locals last Friday. If you did miss out, there is probably still a chance that you can check out the VOD on my Twitch, but if not, I always have the upload on a Monday as well, so if you want to check through my other videos, you can look for the upload from Monday and check it out, and that just have all the games, not the in-between bits as well. So if you just want to watch the games, feel free to check out my upload from Monday. And it is kind of the typical SS4 Gogeta, but it's more built red-yellow because I'm liking if a red deck can be mono like red-yellow, like putting some red-yellow tech. Again, I feel it's a better choice than at the moment with just a mono red. And as I don't have access to the secret rare Vegito, I'm kind of like restricted to what really the most effective way I can build this deck, and I feel this is more interesting if you can't. It's like a nice build if you can't afford the SS4 Vegito Zeno secret rare and want to try it out, but have like some other red bits. And it gives a different way to play, and it means that like, people kind of would most people look at certain decks and assume it's one version. And having this different version can kind of throw people off, not knowing what they expect, or if they expect things differently, and have to play around it, which gives you a little bit of benefit. So what I'm going to do is, as usual, I'm going to go over the list, check out the card choices one by one, and then afterwards I'll go over the play by play, which is not that much similar, not much different to a normal SS4 Gogeta, but I'll still go over it anyway, and also then go over the side deck and the Z deck, because I have the full deck when I normally do this. And this deck has slightly changed from the one I used it on Friday because of the fact that after playing, I figured out some choices weren't as beneficial, so I've updated it. It's not exactly the same list, but it's how I would have run it from there. And there's only like a few changes, like 2 cards out and a different 2 cards. That's basically it. But before we do go into that though, feel free to like the video if you enjoy it. If you enjoy this deck profile, enjoy my channel and my content. Also, feel free to give it a comment as well as a like to let me know if you've got any changes you would recommend, or if I didn't go over something as far as you would like, then let me know and I'll basically try and explain in the comments best. Or if you want to start a discussion, feel free to do that. I love to reply to comments and get a discussion going. And lastly, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Helps me greatly. Helps me get to my goal of 1,000 subs, which I'm currently almost halfway there. And we're coming up close to 500 subs as well as recording this video. So if you want to help me get to 500 subs to give a giveaway, and also detail what I'll be doing when I get to 1,000, then feel free to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, to get subscribed and keep it updated with my videos when they drop. And also, if you do subscribe, feel free to click the notification bell because it gives you alerts as and when my videos do drop as well. And I try to drop content for like at least 3 times a week for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the video and check out the list. So starting off, we'll start with the leader. I imagine most people know what the leader does. The leader is quite simple in the fact it just draws a ton, and it does that by doing like a little bit of searching and stuff like that. And with that, the effect of it is it has a permanent where you can use mono red rest mode Saiyan cards in combos, and that's on both sides. On both sides, if you've got a mono red rested Saiyan card on your board, you can combo that off. So it's a nice little way to attack with things, then combo off for your lead. And there's some good plays you can do with that for your lead too. And on the front side, it doesn't like most leaders where they like just swing on the front side to get advantage. Like say swing to draw a card. It's got a different way to do it and helps with the whole mechanic, it's Zenkai mechanic. And that is also once per turn, when you use a card in a combo, you look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 red Saiyan card or 1 red Unison card with a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So that gets you a nice bit of like cycling through. The only sad bit is if you see something you want, but you can't pick it off this, like say like a super combo that we're playing in here, or some other tech cards, then you put them to the bottom and you have to kind of shuffle if you want to try and see that or filter the deck. But this deck has enough filter for you to basically see any cards you want, like mostly any cards you want very easily. And this is not just during your turn either, so during your opponent's turn, if you combo defensively on your opponent's turn, not only you combo in the Charge Z energy, which helps to the leader's awakening condition as well, which we'll see in a bit, but it also allows you to get advantage on your opponent's turn, which not often many leaders do. And then with the Awakening, it's one of those ones that has an alternative Awakening condition in as well, where when your life is at 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy, and both Son Goku GT and Vegeta GT in your Z energy, you draw 1, untap 1, take your life down to 6, and flip the leader over. And now when you're flipped over, you're now SS4 forms of both Goku and Vegeta, and you have a new permanent, where your Gogeta GT cards can attack your opponent's battle cards in active mode. And when your Gogeta GT cards attack your opponent's battle cards, your opponent skips their defense step. And a nice little handy thing is it's got an auto after that as well, which is once per turn. When you activate Union Fusion, this card gains Gogeta GT for the turn. So that's a nice little way to give your leader a bit of a an extra tag, essentially, in a second character or a third character, to allow you to get that benefit to attack it to a battle card with the leader and make it so your opponent can't really do anything against it. Well, they can negate the attack, but they can't do any combo because they lose their defensive step. And now on this side, this is where you get like a ton of draw from it, in combination with some cards in the deck, and that is when this card attacks, now you just draw 1, so now you're just swinging the draw, but you also get to play up to 1 red Saiyan card with entry cost of 1 from your hand in rest mode. So that gives you a lot of advantage through that way, and we'll see what that does with how it does that in a bit. But starting off, we'll go through the little Unison package, because this is one that did come with a Unison, and a very strong Unison, and a little nice package to go with it. So starting off, 4 of the Unison, which is SS4 Gogeta Power Connection. This is probably one of the, or even the best red Unison we've ever had, and ever since we had that little void of Piccolo Jr. being hit down to 1, being limited, red has not had to look at whatever options it had for a 2 specified cost red Unison. And in this set we get given an amazing one, like a pretty busted one, like how blue got with the Boo Unison. Red got this one in SS4 Gogeta, because as you know, as you'll probably see is a big theme with this, is SS4 Gogeta is one of the most busted characters, and always cards represent that level of power. So for Gogeta, he's got an auto, where when it's played, you look at the 3 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 red card among them to your hand, then place the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck. So that's any red card. It could even be red yellow, and you can grab that from it. As long as it's got red in it, you can grab it, and it's any kind of red card. So straight away, just by playing it, you're replacing itself with a new card from the top 3 to get any red card, and you're not going to whiff in this deck because you're not running any more than, I'd say, I think it is 1 card that's not red, so good benefit in that. And its 2 marker skills is 1 is a +2 and 1 is a -4. So the +2 is an activate main. Play up to 1 red battle card with entry cost of 1 from your hand in rest mode. So remember, with the leader's effect, you can combo cards off in rest mode, so even though you're playing it in rest, you can still combo off, which is pretty busted, I must admit. And it's a +2 as well, so it's gaining a ton of markers. And not often you see on a 2 specified cost Unison a +2 marker. I think this might be the first one we've got for a red. I'm not sure, but I think it is. Or maybe even for any 2 cost specified Unison that's got a 15k power at least. Like ones I can remember, like for 2 specified costs we had Zeno, which was a 9k power, so it was still easy to run over with little things. And everyone's have been like 3 cost Unisons, you know, we get a +2 with. And I think this is the first 2 specified cost one it gets in it marker skill that's actually relevant as well. There might be others, but this one's the most relevant and the strongest out of them. And its -4 is pretty useful. It can help you finish off games as well, where it's activate battle, where this card gets 15k power and double strike for the battle. Just, yeah, make it swing, -4 to make itself a 30k double strike base. And that's great because you can always swing with this to try and see if your opponent's going to take it when it's got like 5 or more markers on. See if your opponent's going to take it. If they stop the attack with a negate, you can always just say, okay, I'll then +2 instead, using the -4. So that is a busted one, and we play 4 of that, and that's also searchable by the leader as well, because as I said, it searches for a mono-red Saiyan card or a Unison of specified cost of 2. And to go with that, as we normally do with Unisons, we have 3 copies of Yamcha, because in this day and age, Reds has 2 of those 3 character plays, one being Videl, being Yamcha, and Videl requires you to have a 3 specified cost Unison. So since we can't play that, we go for the next option of Yamcha. And Yamcha is one of those 3 character plays every colour got apart from black, RIP, that they got in set 10 and have 3 character plays. And when I say about 3 character plays, I mean that they have permanents where if you have a using card with 2 or more markers that's the same colour as the card, you can activate in play. You can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without playing its energy cost. So essentially with Yamcha, You have to have his 2 markers or more on this Gogeta, which you'll have 4 when it comes in, because you're going to be +2 straight away. And you can play this for free from your hand. But if you do, you can't activate if you do activate the counter skills on any of these kind of cards, you can activate counterplay skills on other cards for the turn. So if you use this first, you can't use any more counterplays. But if you use another counterplay first and then use this, that's absolutely fine. And Yamcha's one of those ones where it kind of gets complicated for people understanding the counter windows, because his skill is use up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 50k power for the turn and play this card. This means that this is one that requires you to have a knowledge of counter windows and make use of them, because it's one of those ones that's best used in the counter window too. Because when you go to play a card by hardcasting or playing a skill, you get, when you play it by either way, by hardcast or play a skill, they have a counter window 1, which is before the card comes into play, your opponent can activate a counter play in response to you trying to play the card. But if you're playing a card by a skill, you get a counter play window 2, where after the card's played, you get a counter window to activate. And if you activate this in counter window 1, you cannot hit the card coming in because it actually isn't in play yet, and Yamcha resolves before the card comes into play. So if you were to Yamcha in counter window 1, you have to choose 2 things that are already on the board that don't have deflect to be able to target them in minus number 15. But if you do it in counter window 2, you can then choose the card that was been played, because it's now after counter window 2 the card has been played and you can target it with the Yamcha. So just remember that. And we play free because we don't want a full 4 because you want them to clog your hand, but free is enough to allow you to see 1 when you want to. And to finish off the Unison package, we also have one card that was limited like most of the stuff in King Piccolo, and that is the King Piccolo the New Ruler. So this is a free cost 15k that has double strike. It can come down for free as well with his activated main, where if you have a red Unison in play with at least 3 or more markers on, you can play this card from your hand and can't play copies of this card for the turn, which doesn't matter because it's limited, but it just essentially means as soon as you drop this Unison down to +2, you're live to be able to play this King Piccolo for free down to your board. It does have an auto where at the end of your turn you send the card to your warp, but that's fine, you're going to be swinging with it to get a big double strike swing. And it's very good because of the fact that it's got a permanent where if your leader card's red, not only does it gain 5k power, but your opponent can activate blocker in response to this card's attack. So your opponent negated your last attack with a token negate and have that token on board to stop your next attack. You can just drop this, swing at their lead for a 20k double strike, and they can't block it. They'd have to use a negate. So that's the Unison package. So just say 8 cards for the Unison package to give you a little bit of utility, giving you this amazing Unison and some cards to work around it to help you out as well. Now we're going to go heavily into the archetype part of the deck. So every time we get a note set now, normally it's got a big archetype around it, and this is revolving around going into SS4 Gogeta and with Goku and Vegeta to support it. And the first 2 cards we have is SS4 Son Goku preparing to brawl and SS4 Vegeta preparing to brawl. Now these are the ones that with your leader can draw you 3 cards a turn and thin your deck massively, very quickly, and pretty unfairly as well, because they both have the same permanent, where if your leader is a red Son Goku GT Vegeta GT card, which our leader is, you reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 3. So essentially in your hand they're 1-drops as long as you got this leader, and this is why they can be and this allows them to be played off the lead or the Unison, because they're technically then 1 cost in hand. And they both have the same autos, 2 autos as well, where the first one is when this card is played, draw 1 card, switch this card to rest mode, and play this card in its own as dropper at the end of the turn. And that's not an issue because remember, your leader can combo off cards in rest mode that are mono red Saiyans, and these are so they fit the bill. So you'll swing with your lead, draw 1, play this out, draw 1 for this, and then you'd combo with it, because the second auto is when this card is using the combo from your battle area, you draw 1. So swing lead, draw 1, play this, draw second, and then combo this off to draw 3 cards. And you may have lost a card in hand, you've +2 because you've drawn 3 cards, lost this card in your hand, so you've +2 and drawn 3 new cards from your deck. And they both do exactly the same thing, so you play a full 4 copies of each just to get that draw power going to search for your deck very, very quickly. And not only that, but we do have some copies that, like, if you remember the days of Arrival, well, this deck has them included, but not with the whole energy source situation to make it a little bit slower. We got this deck going as quick as possible, and this deck gets some pseudo Arrival cards. And what I mean by that is that by paying literally like 1 energy, you can rival this by just comboing a card. And for this deck, we have the SS Son Goku Rival United, and SS4 Vegeta Rival United. So they both have deflect, but they do have some difference. They are very similar in most of their skills, but they have some differences. So they're both 4 cost 20Ks. They both have deflect, but Goku has double strike and Vegeta has critical. They both have a activate battle that allows them to play themselves. So they're both limit 1 for 1 red. If your leader is a red Goku GT Vegeta GT card, you have 2 or more energy and 1 or more of the ever card in your combo area. You get to play this card from your hand. So say if you combo off a Goku, you can then play the Vegeta, and then vice versa, combo Vegeta, play off the Goku. And they have a little bit of a difference in skills. They also do have a similar second auto, which is by paying 1 red. When this card is using the combo from your battle area, this card gains an extra 5k combo power for the battle, and your leader gains the unique skill that's on this card for the turn. So if you combo with the Vegeta, it becomes a 10k and your leader gets critical for the turn. If you combo with the Goku, this becomes a 10k combo and your leader gains double strike for the turn. So a nice way to get extra skills to push through as well. And this is a nice handy way as well to tap yourself out for the Z leader we'll see in a bit. And then the only real big difference is these first autos on both of them. Goku's first auto is when it's played, draw a card, so you get an extra draw power that way. And Vegeta's is really nice and really handy with this deck, which is when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and gets minus 15k power for the turn. So this helps you get over some swings like with the Sin deck. If they try to swing you with that double strike crit and put a super combo onto it, you can always combo off a Goku and a rival in the S4 Vegeta, reduce the power to out combo the swing a little bit easier. And we do have some more Gokus, so that's not the end of the Goku Vegetas we have in the deck, because we have 2 Evertech ones to make it a little bit helpful in getting the utility and defense as well. So we got SS4 Son Goku Digging Deep. This one is very nice in the fact that it can give you a boost for the turn. So having a 15k leader is great, and if you've seen some other decks, some leaders can go into a Z leader, and those Z leaders can have 20k power, which makes it a lot harder for your opponent to go over it, especially if their cards are just 15k each. And this kind of like simulates that with your lead, because it's got no combo power, so it's no combo cost, no combo power, which you might think is pretty bad, but it's actually got a very strong skill in its auto, which is limit 1. If your leader is a red Son Goku GT Vegeta GT card and your life's at 4 or less, when this card is using the combo from your hand, you choose up to one of your cards and it gets 5k power for the turn. So essentially you're making, once you get 4 or less life, you get to make your leader have 20k power defensively for a turn, or even offensively turn something that maybe can attack multiple times, or as at quite high power, like extra 5k power for the turn as well. So this is really nice. We play 2 of these to help us get a bit defensive, and to make sure we can have that when we want, we have the Vegeta, which helps search it as well. So the Vegeta, the third Vegeta we have, helps find this Goku, because it is a 4.20k. It's got an activate main, which is limit 1. If your leader is a red Son Goku GT Vegeta GT card and you discard this card from your hand, the effect is to add up to 1 Son Goku GT card with entry cost of 1 and 20k power from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you play 3 of these just so you can help find the Goku when you want, or make sure you can find, say if you need a Prepare and a Brawl, find that. If you want the like pseudo rival one, you can find that. If you want your Digging Deep, you can find that as well if you need it to help survive a turn easier. And not only that, there is one more target you can find for it, and that is 1 copy of Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. So if you remember this one, it's one of those like pseudo super combos we used to have back in the day, where it allowed you to have more super combos but difficult at the cost of a combo, because it's a 1 cost 10k combo with a nice auto. When this card is played or comboed with, you get to draw a card. So if this is a really nice turn 1 play. In this deck we don't really have a proper turn 1 play. It's mainly there to be defensive, and that's normally by using this card defensively to combo the trigger your leader's front side auto and also get a draw and make use of your energy. And moving on to the finale bit of this archetype is the 3 copies of SS4 Gogeta Triumph Together. Now this is the card that probably shouldn't be printed, and what makes this deck so busted, because no other deck has something like this, and not many decks really, or any colors, have a way to fully stop this. They can have something that they can put in place to make it not usable, but then you can play around it by playing other stuff instead of this play. but there's only blue really has a way to stop this when you try to attempt to apply it. Because it's an 8 cost 35k, and it's got deflect, triple strike, and blocker. So deflect means you can't affect it coming in, and triple strike puts in a lot of pressure at 35k, and blocker allows you to defend yourself with it. And you might wonder why you got blocker on it. It's because it's going to restand after you drop it and swing with it. It comes down for 4 red, so its Union Fusion skill is for 4 red. You draw 1, and you use a red Goku GT and a red Vegeta GT with the same power, but luckily all ours have the same power. And it's got a really powerful permanent where this card is unaffected by non-Gogeta GT card skills, and when this card is in battle, your opponents can activate non-super combo card skills, and your opponents and you skip your offensive step. So long story short, in combination with the leader, like this will come down, you can't do anything. It can be affected by anything that's not a Gogeta GT, which means there's nothing that really can affect it. No, nothing can affect it really. There's no, unless you're playing the old secret rare for I think set 10. And as well as that, when it attacks, your opponent can't activate anything in response to it, do anything unless they're using an effect on a super combo. So this is a powerful card because it allows you to swing at your opponent's lead, like wipe out your opponent's entire board. Because as remember with the lead, it can attack once your Gogeta GTs can attack things in active mode. So you can drop this down, clear their board without them responding to it, killing all of them, and then swing at their lead with it afterwards. And when you swing at the lead, the only thing they can activate on is really super combo skills, unless they're playing a lot of cards from their hand or using super combos. So after wasting 2 super combos on a 5k, which is half of the super combos, and still a card from the hand, or they're using a lot of cards from the hand, or taking the damage of free hit damage. And that's not too big of a worry. Like it does have an auto where at the start of your next charge phase, you place this card near its drop area. But in combination with the Z leader, you can keep this around for an extra turn if you feel your opponent can doesn't have any more super combos, or doesn't have enough combo power left to survive an Ever swing. And the Ever auto, which is how it clears your opponent's board and still goes for your lead, is when an opponent's battle card is KO'd by this attack, or at the end of your turn, you switch this card in active mode. So essentially, this is coming down, wiping at your opponent's boards, pushing damage at your opponent's leader, then restanding so you can defend yourself with it next turn. And even if it doesn't stay after the end of your opponent's next turn, you can at least get 1 block or something that you don't really want to take. You play 3 copies of this because I found out yesterday on Friday, 2 really isn't enough. Trust me, 2 isn't enough. And that leaves us with the art style. We go into the normal generic red stuff as well now. So we got 4 copies of the Beerus super combo. This is just a nice super combo I like, and it is part of the red-yellow package I'm playing. And I really enjoy it because it gives you access to some things that you wouldn't get in the normal red stuff, and some yellow tech you can get that's quite strong. It's not as potent as it is in Red Sin, but it is still fun to have a certain card to use with it as well. And this is one of the few super combos that are multicolored that actually let you replace itself. Normally they have effect, like you get some that make your opponent bottom deck a card from their hand or play himself after, but there's not many that actually allow you to draw a card, and this Beerus allows you to. Because if your leader is red or yellow, when it's using the combo from your hand, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's red, this card gains 5k combo power, and if it's yellow, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest, opponent's cards in rest mode, and give it minus 5k power for the battle. So if you hit a red card, it's a 10k. If you hit a yellow card, it can still be a 10k depending if the card has power or can be affected by cards or not. But if you hit a card that's both red and yellow, you get both effects of being a 10k combo and get the effect of minus 1 of your opponent's cards by 5k for the battle, which is one of my favourite things. I hit in a super combo for super combo with this one. It feels really good. And the only time there's only one card that's going to potentially not make it a that's not red in the deck, so it's going to be very unlikely you're not going to get the at least 1 cost 10 make it 1 cost 10k draws. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't need you to be at a certain life total to be able to use, which is one of the big benefits. You can be at 6 life when people normally look at it and think you can't have access to a token negate or super combos and try to swing and put a lot of pressure where you're at 6. This allows you to still out combo things and not worry what your life total is as well. And to go with that, we have 2 copies of Cedra and Mojito, Universe 9 Destroy an Angel. This allows you to have a yellow energy in checkland for some cards, for some things we're going to see in a bit. And this is really nice in the fact that you just need to have in your drop to be able to bring it out without energy exhaust, because it does have energy exhaust like all my colours do, which means that if you charge it, you charge it in rest. But the only skill we're worried about on it is the permanent, where when you charge it, you can ignore the energy exhaust skill by warping from your drop one yellow and one red card. And the great thing that facilitates this is a super combo being the yellow one that you can use early just to defend attack or put some nice pressure on and get that yellow and drop. And there's other ways you can get any red and drop just by using things like even just using this SS4 Gogeta, searching for rivals, gets that red in your drop for you. And this allows you to have some yellow energy as well for some cards we'll see soon. And we play 2 copies of this because we do want to see it, but where the deck's got enough search of power, having 1 it could be in your life, whereas 2 you could potentially have 1 in your life but still have 1 in your deck. Then we have 2 copies of Brody Crown. This could be played for free off the Unison, and is a great way to help deal with blue, because if your opponent has 2 or more energy when this is played, you get a look at your hand, have that nice little bit of information, and rip a card from your hand that's 20k or less. So having that hand knowledge is the best thing, and ripping a card out is like basically a benefit. And then we have 2 Resolve Renew, just to help deal with some floodgates. Like the only ones it doesn't hit really is extra card ones, which is a given. And also outside of that, Topo and the SS4 and the Ready to Rumble Vegeta and Blue. But then you'll have side deck cards to replace this with in your side deck to deal with those ones if you come against them. But normally this deals with most other things that you'd have to worry about, or stops things like Charismatic if you play against green and stuff like that. So we play 2 copies of this because it's just a really nice thing, and it isn't live until they come down until it's 1. So you have 3 energy or more. And then you go with that as well. We also have 2 copies of SS Sun Goten Hyperspeed Rush. This is a very powerful new TP that came out in the same set this deck came out. So it's a free cost 15k with double strike. Also when it's played, you draw 1, so it replaces itself when you drop it, and you can be dropping a 1 from turn 3 onwards because its active main is limit 1. You can, well, if you got 3 or more mono, if your leader is a mono red, say, and you have 3 or more energy, you get to play this card from your hand for 1. It is a limit 1 though, so you can play 1 a turn, but that's not too bad because you'll be only playing 1 a turn anyway. And it does have a useful activate main that could come in use, which is once per turn. Activate main, paying 1 red. This card gets 5k power for the turn, and you get to choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and minus it by 20k power for the turn. So if you need that extra bit of removal to minus something through, you've got this Gohan to help you as well. And then we have our secret of choice I've put in there, because as I said, I don't have access to the SS4 Vegeta Zenny Unison, and if I did, you can't. That card requires you to have 4 mono red energy to get its full effect. Where most of the time I'm going to try and get this Seadra and Bahito down as early as possible to have that like multicolored charged, and that means I can't really play that as early as I would want to. And in that replacement, I put in the next best secret red that you can have for any red deck, and that is SSB Vegeta Unbridled Power. This allows me to help put my opponent down to 1, or even just push through, put my opponent down to 1 to finish them off with this, or even if they're on 2, drop this, push it down to 2, and then try and finish them off with my Z lead afterwards, because my Z lead, as you see, is a huge beast. And that's it for the all the red cards. Then we have the 1 card that Beerus won't get the full any of the benefit off of, and that is our overall choice, being Dark Broly Heartless Berserker. Now it doesn't have his combo power, but that's fine. It comes in for its effect, which is Overwhelm 6. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and send it to Zona's Warp. And it's really nice because sometimes you just need that extra removal to remove things that you can, but you can always go between this or Fang Greeting depending on what you want. I would prefer to have Dark Broly Heartless Berserker in this just because you want that removal, because this deck isn't big on removal. Like, it can mine through things, but removal is not a strong point unless you want to drop that 8-drop Gogeta. So we play 1 copy of this. And then going into the extra cards, we have 2 Violent Rays, because Violent Rays just busted in this format, just where most decks now are swinging with things at 20k most of the time. It's a nice way to stop it. We play 2, and we can side in a 3rd. 2 Wolfang Fist, because with the Unison you can be playing for free, and if they're trying to pressure the Unison hard and try and go under Violent Rays, Wolfang Fist can then just instantly put a stop to it. And we play it 2 because you need a Unison now, and if you don't see a Unison or can't keep a Unison down, it's not as useful, so we can always charge it if that is the case. Then lastly, we got 3 copies of token gates, because it's just helpful. Once you get down to 5, you can start defending things, potentially stopping 2 attacks by negating with this first, then playing a blocker token to help defend and stop the next attack. And that is it for the main deck. So that is the full main deck. It is a good old 54, so normally I like to keep it at 50 as much as I can, but where this deck has got so much draw power, it feels like you can actually go a little bit higher to incorporate some more cards and still be as consistent as can be. And as well as that, we do have a side deck and a extra deck as well. It's going on with the Z deck. So with the Z deck, these are the 5 cards we have in the Z deck. And for these, we have the Z leader, which with the Z leader, you can only include 1 copy of it in your Z deck, because it is that busted and Banner only allows to have 1. It requires 3 Z energy, and you need to be at 4 less life, have all your energy in rest mode, and skip your next charge phase during your next turn, and it goes on top of your leader. It has a permanent where while this card is in battle, you can activate extra skills, so you can activate any extra card, like to use a negate or anything like that, or use cards in combos. And at the end of your opponent's next turn, switch this card to active mode and root from the game. Now that might seem like heavy restrictions, but if you look at it, the leader is 100k. So this is, you're normally going to be using this either to defend your opponent's next turn after you've dropped the 8 drop down, or even using this as a way to finish off by just swinging your opponent, like using a way to tap out all your energy, say using the pseudo arrival Goku and Vegetas, and then pushing through 100k, even more damage on your opponent's last life with this lead. And with that, we also have access to Rush Attack, SSB Vegeta. We got 3 copies of those because it's just a busted red extra card. We got Defender of Life as a way to help push your opponent down to 3 life, so that way you can finish them off by pushing more damage and potentially threatening lethal with the SS4 Gogeta, or putting more, like, lowering your life slowly with SSB Vegeta to just keep applying pressure to your opponent. The 1 copy of SSB Vegeta surmounting the impossible, a way to help get yourself down from 6 to 5, because your leader does awaken at 6, if you at least down to 6 if you awaken at its alternative awakening condition, and this allows you to go from 6 to 5, so you can have your token negates live as well. And then we play 1 copy of Oolong as well, so this is what the yellow gives us access to, 1 of 2 good cards that yellow gives us access to, and it's Oolong. So this is a nice card where activate main once per turn. You choose up to 1 battle card in play, either your or your opponent's, ignoring barrier, and this card's power becomes a chosen card's power at the time you choose it with the skill, and at the start of your opponent's turn, this card becomes 4k power. So this allows you to copy the power of any card on the board and gain that have that power for when it's chosen. So if you've got this Gogeta on board, you can choose it, bring it out for 1 by sending to use the energy as well. To just copy this and make it 35k, you just pay for 1 energy, the push through a damage, which is great. I even use it in one of my games as well to help push through and bait comboing as well. And it's just a fun card to have. And with the side deck, we have 1 copy of Shin Nova Supremacy to help deal with the 4 drop in the mirror, because it's got a nice little alter when you have 3 or less energy. When you play this, your opponent can attack with 7k or more cost battle cards until you start your next turn. 2 extra Brody Crown because it's just that helpful against blue. Same with Might and Pilaf. Pilaf being more for things like that new Secret Rare untaps, or decks that want to untap in their turn offensively as well. 2 copies of SSB Kaioken for barrier removal. An extra Unbreakable to help get a second, like make sure we got 1 copy for our turn 1 in the games 2 and 3. Extra copy of Raise if you need it. Same with Wolfang Fierce. 2 copies of Omen Awakening, so this is one that helps you get rid of, helps you deal with Topo and the I can't remember what it's called now, Ready to Rumble Vegeta in blue, because you get some matchups where you have that and they use that to help defend, which you've got no really answer for, and this is a nice way of stopping it from coming in, because you've played a 2 specified cost unison. Because if your leader is red, and you choose 1 card in your life to place in your drop area, if the battle card being played has 20k power or less, it's played in the opponent's drop area instead of being played. So if you're trying to push for damage and don't have your 8 drop to come down to make it so you can't play that, you can always use this to stop that with the rest of your board if you built one up. And it's got a permanent where if you have a red unison card with special cost 2 in play, which we do play, it becomes a 1 cost card in your hand, which is really nice. But, so that's if you want to just stop them from coming out without committing 2 energy. But if you want to just push through the damage, make sure damage goes through, we have Almighty Resistance as well. So this is a card that also gives you access you have access to thanks to having the yellow, and it's a counter, which red is massively lacking apart from like a 1 that stops the free 1 cost extra cards. And it's if your leader is red and you choose 1 yellow card in your hand and place it in your drop area, negate the counter attack skill. So this allows you to push through damage and make sure it actually goes through negate. So if you're trying to push through, one thing I like to put in this in for is just push my opponent's leader down to 1, and then get rid of the blockers out the way and try and swing with my leader to finish off with the Z leader. But sometimes they try and use a negate for it, and this allows you to stop their negate and push through your leader swing, go to the Z leader, and just make sure that when you're down to 1 life, that's it, it's game over. And we got plenty of yellow cards if you want to know about a yellow card discard with it, because you got your super combo, and you got some more copies of the second copy of Checkland if you don't charge it or never copy of itself. And that is it for the red-yellow build of SS4 Gogeta. Let me know how you like it, if you want to try it out, if you think it's a little bit nice to have a little bit difference in one of these meta decks. I thought it's quite fun to play, quite interesting. And I was running mirror, and I would probably side mirror, but I forgot all about it, because you could side mirror for the mirror match to help when your opponent goes to a 100k Z-leader on 1 life. You can kind of finish off with drop a mirror to try and meet the condition. But that is it from me today. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.